As soon as, until, before, after. The lesson of today is about these expressions. I had taken my breakfast before I went to work. First example. Before you told me your problem, I had asked your parents. As soon as you had told me the truth, nothing happened to you. Fourth example. I did not understand until you had explained the lesson. I traveled after the storm had stopped. So we have 5 examples. Now we move to questions about the examples. First question. How do we call the words on a red color? What do they express? So we have before, as soon as, until, after. On these sentences that have two actions. First action is with the conjunction and the second action is with the second sentence or part. The second question, to which tenses are the verbs? Last question, can we switch or change between the tenses of the two clauses? Justify if yes, justify if no, justify. You do the task and you check the answers on the keys. The words on red are called subordinate conjunctions and they express a period of time. So they express a period of time, either it's long or short. So they are called subordinate conjunctions. They are used to relate to sentences or clauses. The verbs are either to simple past or to past perfect. We are going to see when we put them to simple past, when we put them to past perfect. Now we can switch or change between the tenses because past perfect is used for the first action and simple past tense is used for second action. So as I have said, we have two actions, one happened before the other. So the first action we use it to past perfect and the second action we use it to simple past. Before, the verb is to simple past. So if it's regular we put ed and if it's irregular according to the verb. But as soon as, after, until, the verb that comes after these conjunctions is to past perfect because it's the first action. Either you have had or hadn't plus past participle of the verb. That can be ed if it's regular verb or from the list also, another form of the verb. As a reminder, as soon as, until, after and before are subordinate conjunctions that express a period of time. As we have said, after, as soon as, until, the verb tense is past perfect because it's the first action. It happened first. And the second verb is simple past because it's the second action. It happened after the first action. Okay, so past perfect is older than simple past. Good. We move on the reminder. Before, the verb tense is past simple because it's the second verb. Because it's the second verb and second verb is past perfect. So before plus verb to simple past, then verb to past perfect. Two actions, one happened before the other. So the first action, the tense of the verb to past perfect, and the second action, the tense of the verb to simple past. We try to do some practice and we check out if we will understand the lesson. Please do the tasks first, then check the keys on the same video. Task 1. Write the verbs between parentheses to the correct tense. So it's one form of the task for baccalaureate exam. Before the civilizations to build people, before the civilizations to build people to live separately, which is the first, which is the second. After you to leave, I to take a decision. which action is first, which action is second, when do we use past perfect, when do we use past simple. Third sentence, I to keep talking about the subject as soon as you not to accept the offer. Fourth sentence, the corruption to end until the government to apply strict laws against unethical practices. Okay, for the other form to do the task, they ask you to join two sentences using one of those subordinate conjunctions and make the necessary changes, of course. First, you left the class. This is first action sentence. The teacher asks you to go out. So the conjunction we use is before. Where do we use it? According to where is the first sentence action and where is the second action, and you make the necessary changes, of course. We move to second sentence. I sleep at night. This is first part. I refuse to join my friends on the party. Conjunction we use is after. The verbs, as you see, aren't conjugated, so you conjugate also the verbs. The police left the suspect. The police found that the suspect was innocent. Here we use enter. You gained money. You worked day and night. Here, as soon as, we use as soon as. Keys to task 1. So the first key, before the civilizations built, people had lived separately. So people used to live separately. Then the civilizations come and they live together. Second, after you had left, I took a decision. I kept talking about the subject as soon as you had not accepted the offer. Okay? So this is for the correction of this first task. I hope you did well for these sentences. As you see, we have two verbs and two actions and we conjugate them. Last sentence, the corruption ended until the government had applied strict laws against unethical practices. So the government had applied strict laws, then the corruption ended. Okay? Keys to task 2. You had left the class before the teacher asked you to go out. So the person left the class before the teacher asks him. So the first action is to leave and the second action is ask. After I had refused to join my friends on the party, I slept at night. The first action is refuse, the second action to sleep at night. The police left the suspect until they had found that the suspect had been innocent. So this policeman checked and found that suspect was innocent, so they left him. The fourth and last key, you gained money as soon as you had worked day and night. First you work day and night, then you gain money. So that's all for this lesson. I hope it was useful for you and that you understood when you use past perfect and when you use past simple with these conjunctions, subordinate conjunctions. بالنسبة للشرح بالعربية تجدونه في صندوق الوصف. شكرا على المشاهدة.